Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this very simple circle dress with pocket. For this tutorial, I used 2 yards of Ankara print, so it depends on how long you want your dress to be. For me, I used 2 yards. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So the first thing I did was to fold my 2 yards into 2. Okay, so 1 yard, I folded 1 yard over to the other side, so everything that I have on my table is 2 yards. So I'm going to fold them into 2 equal halves, as you can see me doing. After doing that, you notice that one side of the fabric is open while the other end of the fabric is closed. So what I'll do now is to pick this side of the fabric that is closed to cover the side that is open. Just the way you fold your fabric when you want to cut out a flare, but this flare is not going to be full. Okay, that is why I folded my fabric like this. If you want to cut out a full circle flare, then you have to use about 3 yards, but this flare is not going to be full. Okay, so what I'll do now is to place my tape from the center, and I'm going to place my bust circumference divided by 4. So my bust circumference divided by 4 is 9 inches. I'll go ahead and indicate the 9 inches, and I'm going to add 1 inch for my stitching allowance, okay, making it 10 inches. After doing that, I'm going to rule a straight line across the 10 inches. Okay, after doing that, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do now is to make sure that I have the 10 inches here. After doing that, I'm going to go up by 2 inches for my chest line. So my chest line is 8 inches, so I'm going up by 2 inches from my bust line. Okay, after doing that, I'm also going to rule a straight line across that point. So I have my chest line, which is 8 inches, and I have my bust line, which is 10 inches. On the chest line, I'll confirm that I have the same measurement there. Okay, you can see the distance between my chest line to my bust line, which is 2 inches. So the next thing I'll do now is to take out the distance from my shoulder to my chest line, which is 8 inches. I don't have that. I'm going to replace that using the spaghetti strap. Okay, but make sure you take out your chest line before you start placing the length of your dress. As you can see, I took out 8 inches because that's where my chest line started from. So go ahead and determine the length of your dress. As you can see on the thumbnail, there is a long version of the dress and the short one. I'm making the short one, so I'm going to be marking 38 inches plus my stitching allowance. Okay, so I'm going to mark 38 inches all the way. So just the way you place your measurement when you are cutting out a circle, I'll keep moving my tape. Okay, I'll place it at 8 inches on the chest line, and I'm going to mark 38 inches all the way till I get to the center front, as you can see me doing. Okay, so this 8 inches that I took out is what I'll be replacing using my spaghetti strap. Okay, once I connect all the dots together, this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect from my chest line all the way to the base of my dress. Okay, just so I know where to cut out. Okay, but if your bust line got to the edge of this fabric, all you have to do is to split it open. Okay, it's because mine did not get to the edge of the fabric. That's why I'm just connecting it back to the base of the dress. So after doing that, this is what I have. The next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and cut. So on this chest line, I'm going to add about 1 inch. Okay, because I don't want the neckline to be too deep. Okay, so I made sure to add 1 inch on the chest line. Okay, so after cutting out, this is what I have. I have 2 pieces, one for the front and one for the back. So I cut out the front and the back together because this dress does not have a zipper. It's a free dress. Okay, I'm going to keep this aside and we'll cut the spaghetti strap. To do that, you can see on the thumbnail that the spaghetti strap is a bit wide. So what I'll do is to mark 4.5 inches. Okay, once I fold it, I'm going to sew using half an inch. I'll turn it inside out and I'll be left with 2 inches. So I'll mark 4.5 inches all the way, as you can see me doing, and I'll connect the dots into a straight line. After doing that, I'm going to mark the length of my spaghetti strap. So remember I took out 8 inches, so I want to replace the 8 inches. 8 inches for the front and 8 inches for the back. 8 plus 8 is 16 inches. I'll be adding extra 1 into it for my joining allowance. So half an inch for the front and half an inch for the back. I hope you understand. So I'm cutting out 17 inches for my strap. So I'm going to mark the 17 inches and I'm going to cut. After cutting, I'll use this one to cut out the other one. While I was sewing the strap to the dress, I realized that the strap was too loose, and that's because it was too long. So what you do is to cut out your strap, sew it, and then wear your dress. Make sure you adjust it to how you want it to be, okay? So after cutting out, this is what I have. What I'll do now is to fold it right side facing right side, as you can see me doing. I'll go ahead and sew using half an inch. I'll repeat the same thing for the other strap, and then I'll turn inside out. I've gone ahead to sew, I've turned inside out, and I've ironed. So the part that has the stitch is where I folded inside, okay? So it's going to be inside, it's not going to show on the outside. So I'll go ahead and bring in one part of the dress, okay? So I'm going to open it up to the right side. So what I'll do now is to place my strap on the dress. To do that, I'm going to come in by 4 inches from this end. I'll mark the 4 inches, and on the other end I'll also come in by 4 inches. So this is where I'm going to be placing my strap. I'll bring in my strap and I'm going to place them like this, okay? So after the 4 inches, I'll place this. I'll make sure the part that has this a stitch on the strap is going to be inside, okay? So I'm going to pin down. So go ahead and pin down. After doing that, you're going to cut out your fabric that you'll be using as a bias, okay? Because we are going to turn the neckline to conceal the neckline, okay? So after pinning, this is what I have. I've also gone ahead to cut out my fabric that I'll be using as my bias. I folded half an inch on both sides. So I'm going to place the bias now on the main fabric, right side facing right side. So the bias should be as long as your fabric, okay? So I'm going to pin all the way. Go ahead and pin to hold it down, right side facing right side. After pinning, I'll head over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew all the way to the end. I've gone ahead to sew and this is what it looks like. So the next thing I'll do now is to cut off this excess fabric first of all, and then I'm going to fold the bias to the wrong side, okay? So this is to give it a neat finishing. I'm going to turn my fabric to the wrong side and I'm going to fold this over like this, okay? So after folding, I'm going to just sew on a straight line. So go ahead and pin. After pinning, go ahead and sew on a straight line. After sewing, guys, this is what it looks like on the right side and on the wrong side. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to attach the strap to the back. To do that, I'm going to place the back piece, the other piece, okay? I'm going to place it on the right side, as you can see me doing. On this side, I'll come in by 4 inches, just like I did for the other piece. I'll come in by 4 inches here, and on this other side I'll also come in by 4 inches. After doing that, I'm going to place both fabric right side facing right side, okay? I'll flip it over like this and I'm going to place them right side facing right side, and then I'm going to place my strap like this after the 4 inches mark, and I'm going to pin down. After pinning, I'll also go ahead and cut out a bias just like I did for the other fabric, and then I'll use the bias to conceal the rough edges. After sewing the other side in place, this is what it looks like. The next thing I'll do now is to arrange both fabric right side facing right side. Okay, go ahead and arrange them properly and then pin. After pinning, I'm going to use my 1 inch allowance. okay, to sew on both sides. So from this armhole area, I'll mark 1 inch all the way to the dress length, and I'll go ahead and just stitch. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. After sewing, go ahead and turn it inside out and give it a good press. So guys, after sewing, I went ahead to turn it to the right side and I ironed it in place. So the next thing we'll do now is to cut and sew our pockets. To do that, I'll figure out where I want to place my pocket. So from the shoulder, I went down by 19 inches. Okay, I'll go ahead and mark the 19 inches on both sides of the dress. Okay, after doing that, guys, I'm going to come inward from that 19 inches by about 3 inches. So you can do 2 inches, you can do 1.5 inches. Okay, so go ahead and mark that. That's the point where you are going to place the pocket. I'll also go ahead and cut out the pocket. So for the pocket, I went ahead to cut with this piece of fabric that is 9 inches by 9 inches. So the wideness is 9 inches and the length is 9 inches. So I folded half an inch all the way around. So what I have left is 8.5 inches. So 8.5 inches for the width, 8.5 inches for the length. That is because I folded half an inch inward all the way around on all the sides, okay, and then I ironed it down. Okay, that is all for the pocket. So what you do now, the part that you want to use as the upper part of the pocket, go ahead and hem it. Okay, the upper part of the pocket, go ahead and hem it first of all before you place it to your dress. Okay, so remember, we are placing the pocket only on the front side of the dress. So on that your chalked line, go ahead and just arrange your pockets in place. Okay, so you can see me arranging mine. So if you feel like is too close, you can just push it backward and then pin. After arranging it the way you like it, just go ahead and pin it down. You can see that I'm moving my pocket backwards. I took 3 inches, but I decided to make it 1.5 inches so the pocket is not too close on the center. Okay, so after doing that, just go ahead and sew from this part down to the down and to the up. The only part you are not going to sew is the part that you hemmed on the pocket. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew my pockets in place, and I've also ironed in place, and this is what I have. So as you can see on the thumbnail, there is a design on the chest area of the dress. So if you want to use another fabric, maybe you want to use an ashoke for the design, all you have to do is to cut out the ashoke, then you hem the rough edges, you place it, loosen the armhole area first of all and place the ashoke, and use the same color of thread to just stitch it down, and then you sew your armhole together. You can also use your bias. Okay, all you have to do is to place your bias how you want it, and then use the same color of thread to just double stitch, okay, on both ends of the bias as many times as you want. Okay, you can also use another color of fabric for your pockets, but I'm not going to do that for mine because I don't have ashoke or the same color of bias to use. So the last thing I'll do is to hem the base of my dress, and that is all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.